Here are some books I recommend to people who say they don't like reading. No, it's not that you don't like reading, you're just reading the wrong books. A lot of people don't really always start with fantasy or like a dystopian, so I always try and start off and break the ice with a thriller. And I'd always recommend The Housemaid. That might be controversial, but it's popular for a reason, okay? And the movie's coming out this year, so I think it's a perfect recommendation to recommend to people who are trying to get into reading or they claim they don't like reading. Also part of a series, so if you really enjoyed it, you can read the second and third and fourth. I probably would recommend finishing at the second because the third, I enjoyed the third, but a lot of people don't think it's that great. Sticking on the thriller recommendations, another one that I would recommend starting with is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. The plot twist was really good, and it's such a small book. Like you will get through that so fast. Now, if you're not that into thrillers and you're more into romance, a book that I would recommend you start with is any of the Abby Jimenez's books. Probably butchered the pronunciation of her name there, but I read Just for the Summer last year, and oh my god, it is one of the best romance books I've ever read. There's not much spice in it. It's more about the relationship between them and their friendships and like their build up to their actual relationship. So if you're not into spice, I think that's one of the perfect places to start. I'm not sure about her other books, but I've heard her other books are very similar. The way she just writes characters and writes men is chef's kiss. If you're wanting to step away from romance or thriller and wanting to get more into like fantasy or like a dystopian book, I really recommend The Hunger Games. It is young adult, but it is so good. Even if you've watched the movies, read the books. Start with obviously The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and then The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, and then Sunrise on the Reaping. I loved them so much. I read them when I was young. I think I might have been even 14 when I read them, but they hold such a special place in my heart. They kickstarted my love for reading. Like when I was reading them books, it made me forget I was reading. They were so good. Really recommend them if you're wanting to start with a dystopian or fantasy. It's not really fantasy, but it's kind of the same vibe. If you are wanting a bit more of like a world building book, but not necessarily fantasy, I would also recommend Where the Crawdads Sing. I loved this book. The way the author described the scenery and the atmosphere and the settings. Again, it was as like it made me forget I was reading. If you are wanting to kickstart your reading journey or get into reading or claim you don't like reading, but you're just reading the wrong books, then start with any of them. Like I said, I gave a few different genres and the quiet, light-hearted, short, easy reads, except The Hunger Games because it is a series. But if you enjoy the first book, then definitely recommend Catching Fire because Catching Fire is the best book I've ever read in my life. If you are just starting your reading journey, welcome. I hope you enjoy, and I'm so jealous for all the books you'll get to read for the first time.